So, the theme of Demon Slayer Season 3. Or should I say themes, because compared to Season 2, Season 3 is actually much more fragmented and much less focused when it comes to its themes. As such, in this video, we're going to be going through 3 different mini themes, if you will, that have been brought about by different characters, and we're also going to focus on one main theme, you could say. This main theme being the main chunk of what this season is talking about. And we're going to start with that one. So, the main part in question is a reflection on the theme of emotions. Let me explain. There are 2 characters carrying this main focus in this season. Tokito and Hantengo, the 4th moon. To start with Hantengo, his power represents a clever idea, though pretty obvious, to metaphorically make a point about emotions. The first thought is that emotions, just like each part of the 4th moon, live together at the same time within us, and the thoughts linked to these emotions kind of wrestle with each other. It's the literal definition of conflicted emotions, and here it is represented in a very visual way. Again, pretty obvious, each part of the 4th moon acts as his designated emotion entails. But there are more subtle ways to see it. The demon part representing fear is protected by all the other emotions. Fears are the most secretive parts of us that we shield in many ways. Also, the fear demon is trying to hide and run away at all times, which mimics our own handling of fears as human beings. Of course, sometimes we find the strength to face our fears and stop running. In our weakness and fragility is born our bravery and strength, a fact that makes us deeply human. However, in this case, we're talking about a demon, which can be very human in many ways, but often make the worst come out about humanity. So the fear demon never stops running for his life. Not only that, he never stops running from the truth. Hantengo, when he was still human, never saw himself as what he truly was, defined by his actions. He always refused to face the consequences of his actions and kept running away, just as he's running away here for his life. Still talking about the 4th moon, an interesting thing happens when the hatred part comes into play and starts absorbing all the other emotions, growing in power at the same time. The metaphor talks for itself here, but I find interesting how in a dire situation, hatred had to grow and show up, overtaking all other emotions in order to protect the precious fear that needs shielding at all costs. There are also 2 really cool things that I wanted to point out about the 4th moon. The first is that the stronger the emotion parts get, the younger they look. If you look closely, the 4 initial emotions split look way younger than the fear part, and the hatred part at the end is the youngest looking. It's a cool way to show that the deeper you go in oneself, in his past, the stronger the emotional energy is. A lot of our defining traits come from deep childhood-rooted emotions. And the deeper you go, the harder they are to tackle, just like the hatred part shows us. The second thing is when the resentment part comes into play. It doesn't make the fear part disappear, it merely keeps fear in its heart to protect it at all costs, growing incredibly aggressive in order to do so. I'll leave you to meditate on that, on what you see in people in your day-to-day life. The other big part of the emotion theme is carried by Tokito, whose theme is more about the numbing of emotion following trauma. Through Season 3, it will take another shock for him in the form of near-death experience to unlock the fear that was hidden deep inside him and to find his old and original self again. There's a similarity with Hantengo within Tokito, in the fact that he has a dominating emotion to drive him that is negative, rage. However, unlike the 4th moon, Tokito actually faced himself and his own fears, his own traumas, in order to keep moving forward. That actually made him stronger and allowed him to prevail, again, unlike Hantengo. For transition purposes, there is another character, unlike the 4th moon, who had to face himself in order to find their true place in the world. Mitsuri. Her exceptional strength rendered her an outcast in a society where women are frowned upon for having such traits. Although she was always accepted within her family, she struggled to leave the nest and find her place in the world. At first, just like the 4th moon, she tried to run away from the truth and to conceal her strength, but in the end she changed her mind and decided to seek for authenticity. The demon slayers gave her that opportunity, A place where her trait is an asset, where she is loved and respected for it. A place where she can truly be herself. We also had Genya's story in this season, which is more about the weight that unspoken words with your loved ones can carry, and the fact that they will be haunted by that weight until they have the conversation, Genya and his brother, about what happened the night their mother died. We will see how that story unfolds. I think it's just the beginning of an arc, so we can't say much about it for the moment. And finally, at the beginning of the season, there is this idea with Kotetsu, the young man, this idea of the weight of legacy. What to do with legacy. Should you carry a legacy exactly the same way that it has always been? Or should you take that legacy that was being given to you and change it and model it to your values, to your being? We have that case with Kotetsu, who has been inherited the mannequin, the fighting mannequin, and doesn't really know what to do with it. He wants to repair it, but at the same time it's used for fighting skills, so it kind of needs to be broken in a way. What to do with such a weight? Your ancestors gave you this thing and you don't really know what direction you want to give this thing. And Kotetsu found the answer to that question. He took that legacy that was given to him, put some of his own salt on it, some of his directions, and allowed Tanjiro to fight the mannequin in order to become better. He took the legacy, made it his own, and redirected it. Though there were many other potential answers, Kotetsu gave us one of them. I also just wanted to touch a little word on the fact that the second biggest antagonist of the season is an antagonist that is about art, in a season that is mainly about emotions. For us, as art enjoyers, we have to feel concerned about this. So, little note there. So that was it for season 3. As I said, quite less focused than the previous season, but still very enjoyable nonetheless. And as always, we will see each other again for the other seasons another time.